doing Tuner Talk. Tonight our subject is going to be a little weird for us since we're always talking about the cool stuff and not the other stuff. But, we got to hit on some other subjects. And since we are getting a little older and at some point, families come into the play.
It's possible.
We want to talk about cars that the average person, now we're not going to get into minivans and we're not going to get into the Excursion and the big monster trucks.
Not on this show.
As much as I like the Bentley Bottega, I'm not going to talk about that. But we're going to talk about small SUVs and sedans that are a cool family car. You can get away with being able to still have some fun.
Yeah.
After you drop the kids off at school.
Yeah. For sure. Well, I would just say straight away that, like, if you have a family and you think you're going to need a minivan, find an SUV, because they're like.
I mean, it works with two kids.
Yeah.
Sedans work with two kids. If you're going to start your own race, then
then
you need 8-person seating.
Fine.
But I mean, I think the domestic car companies. I mean, well, the Malibu, I guess.
Yeah.
I just don't like any of those cars. I mean, the Focus, I guess, if you want to cramp people in there, but it's really not. It's fun, but it's more of a sporty half hatch.
I agree.
And just for the same reason, I wouldn't say put a Golf in this.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's
even
really
a 4-door.
Yeah, but it's still not.
Or 5-door.
It's still really not functional. I mean, I guess it can be.
They're not too bad.
But I mean, like a sedan.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because we've had this conversation before, and I have no idea if this is historically accurate or not, but in my experience, right, the Ford Taurus happened, right? The Ford Taurus happened, and
still trying to forget that.
Yeah, and so there was this 4-door automatic front-wheel drive car. Just everything wrong if you wanted a fun car. But it hit a target, it hit a market of people who were like, I don't care about having fun. I just need to get me and all my stuff from here to there. I don't care.
Right.
And then you started seeing so many other cars that followed the same sort of blue, the Camry and the Maxima and all this.
It goes back to the whole thing where you're looking at, you look back and you think, well, why didn't I think of that? Why didn't we do that years ago?
Yeah,
why didn't phones have cameras in them? Right?
Yeah.
And I mean, but it's, you look at for your end, the European cars, I mean, yeah, you can buy an M3 or M cars in 4-door.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a sporty, fun family sedan. But I really don't see people buying that car for that.
No, I agree. I think a lot of people buy 4-door M3s just to move stuff off.
Well, maybe it's because of the price point. Maybe it's because if you can afford an M3, you buy the M3 and you buy something else.
I think the 4-door M3 in and of itself is a bit of a compromise. Because I don't think anybody ever was like, I really want an M3 and I don't have any friends or family, but it has to be a 4-door. Why would you? Why?
Yeah, but I mean, I think, like I said, you buy the car, the 2-door version, and
you
buy something else.
Something else, yeah, no, I agree.
Then the X5 is, the X5 with the X3 now.
They still have an X5.
They're okay, but there's so many of these. We had a conversation a while back about so many of the SUVs. Like there's 37 models.
I hate
one
all
brand.
the crossovers. Yeah.
I'm just gonna. Mercedes, like the AMGs, are a nice family sedan. I think they're more performance oriented.
Like the GLs.
Right. You get into a GSF.
Yeah.
It's a fun family sedan. You can throw people in it.
Yeah.
And the kids are probably gonna be pretty comfy in the back.
Oh yeah. Sure.
Then reliability of it too. Toyota, even the Camry. Have you seen a new Camry?
Yeah, it's funny you bring the Camry up. I've disliked the Camry. As an
everyone
enthusiast,
dislikes the Camry.
Yeah. No, I think all automotive enthusiasts, none of them like Camrys ever because there's nothing fun about them at all. But then I would say the 2015 and newer, or 2016 and newer, are hey, this isn't bad.
The new one is really cool looking.
But I mean,
it's a lot more. It's a far more. I don't know. I like Toyota's new style. I love the HCR. I would not own one for the reason that we talked about, which is CVT.
Yeah.
But it's so cool looking.
Yeah.
And I'm the biggest Juke hater out there. I mean, it's just such a weird looking. It's so hard to get in the back. They never took into account how you're going to get into the back.
No.
And it was just horrible. But you look at a lot of these little cars, and the Camry's pretty badass looking. It looks more expensive than it is.
It looks better, and the interiors are a lot less boring than they were for years. And that's kind of more where I was coming from with that 2015 or so mark. whenever they came out with that generation. Like, I got it. I rented one. I had a rental one for like a week, and I was like, man, this is way better than they've ever been before.
No, absolutely. I mean, and you can't knock it. I mean, the reliability and that's why I love her. But it's not even that. I mean, you look at some of the other stuff, like, and if Jared was here, he'd be screaming about the Kia Stinger, and if you hit off the target for so long and then you finally hit something that's on the board, that doesn't mean you win the trophy.
What do we say all the time up north? Even a blind squirrel finds a nut sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you look at it, and speaking of north, and I'm going to throw this in because, in my opinion, this is the best family sedan you can get if you live anywhere, and I'm saying anywhere in the United States, is a Subaru STI. I think if you go out and buy an STI, or you go out and buy a Crosstrek or some of these other cars that are out there now,
the Legacy GTs,
or they're a blast,
really
and they go good in the snow.
Yeah, they do.
And they do, you can do whatever you want to do with it. So it's not like we're always kind of spoiled being here, where it's like, oh my God, it's 90 for the 20th day in a row.
Yeah.
But you have to drive in the snow. It's just a situation where, it is what it is. But I think they kill it. I think they just kill it.
Yeah, Subaru kind of, for a long time, for like, I would say at this point probably decades, has found and hit that mark of cars in that segment. That's their wheelhouse.
Yeah, I mean, and you look at some of the other brands that everybody's trying to compete,
right?
But nobody really puts out a 4-wheel drive. I mean, the X3 and stuff like that are
more manufacturers do now than before, but like they're all kind of late to the game, right? Like, I mean, BMW made all-wheel drive 3 Series in the 80s. The E30, 325 iXs.
But it's not never just family. It's cool factor.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really go. You can go crazy with an STI.
Yeah.
And then still take the kids to school.
Yeah. You can have a lot of fun.
You do a lot of the other stuff, and you're done.
Yeah.
I think you just wind up having a problem with it doesn't. Oh, it's snowing. Now when am I going to get the kids to school? Or you can still go ripping around.
Well, I had a lot of Audis when I lived.
Oh yeah. Audis, they were cool.
Quattro,
right?
But
they don't really do they. I mean, do they even do that anymore? Do they really still?
Yeah.
But
for sure. That's like their thing, though.
I mean, STI is like whoops, and then you broke the chair.
Then I broke the chair.
But I mean, you look at a lot of these.
They're expensive.
Price point. It's just, I mean, Subaru's like so much bang for the buck.
Yeah.
And it looks like a sporty car.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a spoiler.
Definitely than the...
Yeah. Well, unlike everything else, it doesn't have a spoiler.
They definitely look much sportier than other Japanese cars in that segment.
And Mitsubishi...
You
and I talk about this.
Yeah.
Every year we go, oh, it's the 1st of January, and Mitsubishi's still here.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, it's like they were... I don't understand what Mitsubishi USA is doing, generally. Like,
didn't they get bought out?
I don't know, but
I think they got bought out.
Seemingly axed all of their cool cars, and they're still existing. And I don't know why.
I forget. I'll have to do the research. When you guys can tell us, but somebody bought it recently. So Mitsubishi is not Mitsubishi anymore. I think they're owned by Nissan.
That's almost not better because Nissan makes 2 cars that are fun.
Well, in the family sedan category, they make a bunch. The thing is, they've gone the way of the CVT too, where it's like the Maximus CVT and yeah.
They're awful.
Yeah,
awful
things. They just don't. The cars just don't do anything for me.
No.
I mean, you're not gonna. I mean, if you wanted to get a Phantom, that would be a great car to run with kids around, or a Bentley or whatever.
Well, yeah.
But it's just for the average person. What's the point?
Yeah, I mean,
is there anyone we're missing?
Well,
missing. Ford doesn't really. I mean, they still make stuff. They
don't make. I mean, well,
or now you have the new Camaro Blazer.
Oh God,
or
it's such a terrible thing.
Blazer, whatever it is.
I don't even want to touch the subject of crossover SUVs because, like, obviously people buy them, and I don't know why. No. They're just tall wagons.
All I can do is mention the Honda Cross Tour.
Oh God,
make you throw up in your mouth.
Hideous things. But like, why are people buying these things? They're just tall wagons. Just have a wagon or an SUV.
Well,
why do you have to have both?
Another thing is, you're almost tempted to just buy a 4-door truck.
What's the point?
I missed the Baja. I had one of those. I missed the Baja.
They were
so cool. Now they're
fun and hideous.
Yeah, they are. Yes,
yeah.
Which is
but they're fun.
Can be said about a lot of Subarus.
No, for sure. That's true.
But you look at people are just buying F-150s, or a Tundra, and it's a bed with 4 seats.
Yeah, and they're roomy inside
and
too.
They're big, and comfortable, and you go on a long trip, you're not wanting to kill your family if you don't want to kill them before.
A fat family fits very comfortably in a four-door truck.
A friend of mine just got a new Dodge truck, and I was saying, wow, those seats are really made for American asses.
Yeah,
because there's some like how the seats have the outer fabric and then the inner fabric.
Yeah.
I'm not a small guy, and I sit in there, and I'm not even touching the outer fabric.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, what is this thing built for?
Yeah, you can't. You sit in there and you go, what human needs this? What one person?
But like you've driven our XB now.
Yes.
I always thought that was like such a great. I mean, it's probably not the safest thing in the world to be in an accident, but they're so indestructible. They run forever.
Yeah.
They get great gas
mileage. A lot of room in them.
They're fun to drive. You can put 4 people in it and still put some luggage in the back. You can stack the luggage up in the back.
They're functional.
And,
sure.
And now they can be had for $3,000. I mean, you find a decent one for $3,000.
I think the point is that we're getting at
the toaster.
It is a toaster.
It is literally a driving toaster.
Or a lunchbox. Is that you can have your cake and eat it too. You can have a car that's fun, and you can fit your family in it. And that was more or less the point behind the M5, which you knew I was going to bring it here.
Yeah. No, I like M5s, but
that was going back to the original one. Like that was the whole point. Like you didn't have to. Okay, like now you have a family. You went from a young professional, now you have a family. Well, how do you still have fun? Like how do you take the kids to school but still have fun? That's where the M5 came in, and I feel like
Mercedes
a lot of
never
manufacturers
really had that.
Not in the same way because
they didn't. Not the same gen, but.
Well, they didn't do manuals.
Yeah.
And even in Europe, like certain cars just didn't have manuals, so it wasn't just the U.S. market. Like they just didn't come with it.
I mean, Audi kind of filled it, and like
in a way.
I mean, I know that we're going to get hurt. You're going to get hassled about stuff like we're missing stuff like Volkswagen Passat or Volkswagen whatever. I used to like the CC a lot.
Yeah, it's a good looking. That's a handsome car.
And there's
it's a handsome car.
Or anything VR6. I love VR6 engines, but.
Well, here's the thing, and no one's going to like me for that. There's going to be tons of pissed off Volkswagen fanboys right now, but I used to be in the Volkswagen scene prior to the Audi scene, which is prior to the BMW scene. We're going way back. And I've long called VW the Honda of the German car scene.
Yeah, but now they own everything.
No, it's not that. It's just that like they have they have unlimited resources that could make Bugattis.
Right.
But if you get in a Jetta, you're like, there's a lot of cheap crap.
Crappy car. But that's what we talked about in the
their best days are behind them
about
too.
German cars playing on their reputation from 20 years ago.
Right. No, and Volkswagen's totally guilty of that because if you look at like Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3 to some extent.
And before anyone calls me the Volkswagen hater, I've owned 16-valve Scirocco's and Corrados and VR6s.
I've had Corrados.
And Passats VR6.
GTIs and GLIs.
Stuff like that too. And those cars have now become iconic. They weren't before. They were kind of like the car no one wanted.
Yeah.
A 16-valve Scirocco, try to buy one now.
Or Corrados.
Or a Corrado. Yeah, you see a Corrado and it's always like mint because the guy had it, from new.
Oh, he
done
knew
nothing to it.
Yeah.
But you look at the Volkswagens now, and I'm really getting tired of seeing the Golfs.
I
don't like them at all.
I have said from the Mark 6 on, old Volkswagen's dead.
They're not bad. They're just underwhelming. And everyone I know who has them has like this problem and that problem, this problem and that problem. It's dumb stuff. Well, I had an R32.
A Mark IV.
A Mark IV, like when they first came out.
The first one, yeah.
And in the first week, it spent the first week in the shop, flywheel bolts fell out.
So that generation of Volkswagen Mark IVs were some of the most handsome and also simultaneously one of the cars that had the most like engineering oversight from one of the generations that had.
Yeah.
Because you had like, Volkswagen had issues like they had cars that had certain electrical issues that would come up because Volkswagen decided to paint the grounds before they put the ground straps on. Stuff like that.
How many times have you driven behind a Mercedes and half the taillights work?
Yeah, that's true.
I still can't believe they still have that problem.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what generation it is. It's always some electrical thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think if you can afford to buy up, but not everybody can.
Yeah.
If you don't have more than 2 kids, and you don't need an SUV, then there's stuff out there. There's stuff out there that's fun. You can buy it, you can drive it, and and when the kids are home on the weekend, you want to go tear up, maybe go to drag strip. You can even take something and have some fun with it.
Well, the thing that this conversation is doing, which I'm totally on board with, is it's killing the excuse that you can't have fun because you're a dad or a mom now.
True.
You can't.
I had one of the Stillen Maximas back in the day when they came out in 2000.
Oh yeah.
And they used to, before that, I don't think they were still doing that marketing campaign. They used to call them the 4DSC,
the four-door sports car. What a joke!
And that Maxima hauled butt. I mean, it was tuned by an aftermarket company and had a lot more power. But if you buy another car that, like, if you want to get something older, the 2002, I'm going to say 2002, 2003 Maxima, 2 years.
I know that one.
You could get them with a 6-speed.
Yes.
You could get them with a 350Z motor.
I knew a girl that had that.
A matter of just changing the air filter.
Yeah.
And you were 350Z power, and they're quick.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a quick.
I knew a girl who had a silver one, black interior, VQ35, all that.
And 6-speed. In 2000, 2001, they had the 3-liter.
Yeah.
And then they and the 5-speed.
Yeah.
That's what I had. And then 2 years later, they upgraded them after the anniversary edition came out.
Yeah.
But Maximas are still. I still like the way. I mean, I don't like the way the new ones. The new ones look good, but the only reason is that CVT transmission.
Yeah.
They look good. The new ones look good.
Yeah, but Nissan, I mean, and this has kind of become an accidental recurring theme, Nissan's best days are behind them, too. Like, all of the awesome Nissans haven't been made for 20 years.
We're talking about the fact that they don't make a new car, they just make one new car. And then, last year's Maxima becomes the Ultima.
Yeah,
the Ultima becomes the Sentra.
The Ultima just keeps
and they just go, and they just make one new car, and then the other two become the old car.
Just get rebadged.
You get rebadged. Because if you look at, now there's like a Sentra, I think it's a Sentra and Ultima Nismo now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and so, me, having the background that I do, it's not going to be a fun family car unless it's rear-wheel drive and manual. It just won't be. I don't care how fast it is irrelevant.
Or the all-wheel drive stuff's fun.
But front-wheel drive now.
Yeah, and what really, other than BMW, and who makes a rear-wheel drive sedan?
Cadillac.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's something we didn't bring up. The CTSs and the ATSs.
Excellent cars.
Still get manuals.
Manuals.
In them. They're fast, they're fun.
T56 6-speeds.
And it's one of the few GM cars I like. Like, very few GM cars I like.
Well, so, a little bit of history. Bob Lutz left BMW USA for GM, and the first Cadillac, certainly, maybe the first GM car at all, that was made under him was the CTS. That was his first car. And it was awesome. And there's a lot of, like, apparent BMW DNA. Like, the CTS-V is his take on an E39 M5.
Yeah, but I would almost take a 2-door CTS-V coupe over a lot of sports cars.
I want to like that car, but it's hideous. And I really want to like it.
I like the hideousness of it.
Oh, I can't stand it.
I like that so much of the back of that car looks like a series of boomerangs.
Oh.
We were talking about this a couple days ago. My friend owns one. The car is actually designed to look like an archer pulling a bow. So if you look at the side of the car, the body line and the arch, it's...
Who came up with that? That's a terrible idea.
No. But
why don't you make it look like a good-looking car? What if you did that?
Yeah, I don't know. I like them.
I can't. I would feel the same way about owning that car as I would if I had, like, if I picked up, like, a really hot girl in the gym but she was hideous in the face. I'd be like, yeah, like, from the distance, I can totally justify dating her.
50-foot test.
Oh, man, I couldn't do it.
I guess the point is, if you're looking for it, it's out there. It's just a matter of being selective. And don't be afraid to get something that's maybe a couple years old just to make it more fun.
So many good deals. So many good deals.
I mean, your kids are going to grow up, and at some point you're going to get rid of that car or get something else. So at least get something that's at least fun while you have it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, all right, guys, we'll see you next week.